reminding ourselves of just how committed he's been on addressing the concerns of inclusivity, and of course that precious visit that he made to this nation for the very first time in Africa. That is, of course, sometime in 2015. Father, thank you so much for creating time, and sincere condolences.
Yes, we say thank you to all who are condoling with us, and we cannot say it's sad. We can only say that's God's time. Yeah.
All right. And they say for a person who's passed on, you always try to give them their good name and appreciate what it is that they have done positively. And as much as now we see the freedom of people speaking so much about the negatives of an individual. How would you summarize what was the Pope's impact, of course, to the Catholic fraternity, but basically to the world?
First of all, I want to greet all our viewers wherever they are, and of course condole with the whole church, the Universal Church, the Catholic Church, and to be precise, the Roman Catholic Church. And as a Catholic priest, we are also touched because he's our Holy Father, the Holy Pontiff, and you know, he took over after Benedict XVI, and you know, these are changing times, you know, and of course this time is the time that we are having so many things coming up, the technology, and of course he has done a lot. First of all, the only thing that I can try to remind people that this Pope is a unique Pope. Why? He is a beacon of humility, courage, and also spiritual guide. And those three aspects are very important. Even that's why, by the way, he took the name Franciscus in Latin, that is Francis. He is the first Pope to pick the name Francis. Remember, when you are elected a Pope, you know, you pick a name. Previously, we had John Paul II of good memories. And later we had Benedict XVI. This is the first Pope to choose Francis. Who, for those who can see me, I have the Franciscan towel with me. This is called Franciscan towel.
All right.
And it's associated with Francis, Saint Francis, who was a humble man, who decided even he will not be ordained a priest. He remained a lay person, but to show people humility. He never wore shoes. He had sandals. Yes, he could beg money for the church. The same with this Pope. So he's a beacon of compassion, you know, courage, humility, and also spiritual guide.
Let's paint his leadership away from all these good characters that he held. Would you say faithfuls will remember him, you know, when they think about leadership, of course, Vatican, but basically the Catholic Church across, and I mean how he's worked with the other cardinals all through? Yes,
first of all, in Kenya, we'll never forget him because he visited us. We were among the lucky countries that he came in 2015. And remember, I was finishing seminary at that time. I was going to fourth year theology, and I was involved in his mass. And that's a plus to Kenya. You know, that time was the time of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and also, of course, Dr. Samuel Ruto was the deputy president. And of course, on the other side, we will not forget that he has given us in Kenya a great nuncio. Nuncio is the Pope's representative, Vatmegan, and who has brought a lot of changes in Kenya. Almost everywhere in Kenya now we have a local ordinary. We have the bishops, including the military ordinariate in Kenya that didn't have a bishop. So we'll never forget this humble man of God, Pope Francis. Yes.
Of course, we talk about the eligibility of picking the next Pope.
Yes.
And most of the people have highlighted just how keen he was on the question of inclusivity.
Yes.
That today we speak of a possibility of having, you know, an African Pope.
Yes.
Today we speak of a possibility of having an Asian Pope.
Yeah.
What do you make of this and the push that he genuinely, you know, ensured to actually bring on board by making sure that, of course, there's that inclusivity? We talk about 110 who are actually, or 110 cardinals who are eligible to vote that were picked by the Pope himself.
Yes.
And, he considered the diverse aspects of the world.
Yes, but to be precise, because of the recent addition of cardinals, we have currently 252 cardinals.
Okay.
But those who are eligible to vote are 138.
Yes, but 110 of these were picked by the Pope himself.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why? Because the church has its own rules.
Okay.
And of course, you cannot be voted if you are above 80.
Right.
And of course, we pray. I could see today in Facebook, people saying, all the best, Cardinal Sarah, who is from Africa. People are forgetting that even ours here, John Cardinal Dewey, is still not yet 80.
Okay.
And he'll be in Rome, of course. And okay, we wish them well, of course, but to the Pope, because of that aspect of his humility and integrity, and inclusivity, whereby now he's trying to say himself is not from Italy. He was born in Argentina.
Right.
So exactly. So for him being outside Rome and outside Italy, that's why maybe that aspect is in him. And he's saying anybody, regardless of where you come from, you can be a pope.
Okay.
Yes.
And of course, he was huge on reaching out on the marginalized groups and
to him, he's reaching out.
Yes.
And that's why he never went to the richest countries. He came down even to Africa, and more precise, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. Why? It's not about the mighty, even the lowly,
How did this then come in to shape the mission of the church, and that is in relation to the guidance that he offers?
Yeah, for him, he's safeguarding the creed, that says we believe in one holy apostolic Catholic church. It is one. So it doesn't matter whether you come from Asia, whether you come from Africa, or which you can serve the church where you are. Like now the current nuncio, the Pope representative in Kenya, he comes also, he came as the representative of Pope in Kenya, and also South Sudan.
Right.
You can see that aspect.
Okay.
He is all the way, because this man want to show people that you can work anywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've been looking.
To him, no discrimination at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been looking at the procedure of just electing the next.
It's called the conclave.
Yes, the conclave. Yes. The papal conclave. Yeah. And Africans are excited, we must admit.
Yes.
And we would love to hear what you make of this. I know you say even our own Cardinal Joy stands a chance.
Yeah.
But what would it mean to have, an African Pope?
First of all, it will bring mixed reactions, because, any African leader anywhere, whether church, politics, what, we are considered as corrupt people, dark people, but of course, even if it will bring mixed reactions, to us, we are supposed to be proud of ourselves, because God can choose you from anywhere, and that's the beauty of the Catholic Church. I, myself, as a Kenyan priest, I can work in Italy, read and study, work in Italy.
Right.
Through this man.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. This very man, or perhaps let's talk about the Pope himself.
Yes,
May
Pope
his soul
Francis.
rest in eternal peace. So before we take a quick short break, how do you suppose, what do you think then his death means to the Catholic Church, and how will it influence it, now going forward? Yeah.
Okay. First of all, we have to appreciate that it was God's will, and of course, regardless of whether he's alive or not, the church continues. The only thing that will happen now from today until we get a new pope is omission of his name in the canon and the Eucharistic prayer. But of course, the 9 days of mourning will continue. So the church continues with or without him. Yes, because the church is one, and of course, now because it has been handed over to the College of Cardinals, the church will continue.
It's been a period of tension.
Yes.
And I know most of the people have reacted differently to the death or the demise of the Pope. I would love to hear what you make of this and perhaps the different responses across, not just the country, but across Africa. But allow us to take a quick short break. And then we come back and begin from that very note on the reaction of the church on the demise.
Yes, but as we take the short break, I remind the people, we are pilgrims of hope together in prayer.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.